Welcome to the American Business Podcast. I'm Kevin Deveji, your host. I'm welcoming you to episode 91. We are in season 3. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. And today's number is 2.90. American manufacturers added $2.90 trillion to the economy in the Q1 of 2025. We have a great guest today. We'll learn something new as we always do in the American Business Podcast. Let's invite our guest and let's get the conversation started. Hello, Richie. Welcome to the podcast.
Hey, Kevin. Thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us in your busy schedule. We truly appreciate it. How was your weekend?
Weekend was actually awesome. Yeah, it's just went by so quickly. It's always I think it's always a good thing when it happens so quickly, goes by so quickly. It means you've actually had something tangible thing to do. Yeah, but it was actually great.
Yes, that's true. And also, the weekends are great. And you also joined the Connection America online business networking event hosted on the American Business Podcast. And that was also a great event. Actually, it was a couple of months ago. And the new one is also coming for I think that is, let's see, it's actually for November 21st. So that's also very exciting. We are very excited for this. I also put it on the screen for the Connection America Business Networking event for those who like to join us. And that event will be also hosted on the American Business Podcast. So that's what keep us busy to get ready for the online business networking event for the November 21st. So we are very excited for this event, and it's coming up. Just like you said, the time goes very fast, especially when it's good. So this is one of the events that we are definitely looking forward to, and having our guests as well as business networkers coming up for the November 21st. Well, that's great. Why don't we get started, if that's okay? As a start, would you please introduce yourself and your organization to our audience and to our listeners?
Oh, absolutely, Kevin. Yeah, thanks for having me. And by the way, I think the last event I think was awesome. I'll recommend people I think to have a listen to the next one. Yeah, so I'm
Appreciate it.
Richie. Yeah, I'm based out here in London, England, and I'm the founder of Operators Edge. So Operators Edge is all about we help elite performers engineer the edge from the inside out. So not just in business, we're talking about health, relationships, and execution. So in a nutshell, that's pretty much what I do.
Appreciate it. Well, so you are in UK and you're operating from there nationally and internationally. In terms of just a follow-up question, you being there, do you see any uh, cultural difference in terms of doing business in UK and working companies in US? You also, I'm sure, observe if whether there is any difference, any changes that you um, observe between two markets from the business culture point of view.
That's a very good question, actually, you just raised, because I've been talking to friends. And the thing about it, I think with the globalization now, and with leaving this digital world, you're out there in the US, I'm here in the UK, and we can actually communicate almost in real time. I think the lines have actually been quite blurred right now, as far as in the case of the differences, especially in the Western world. I think a lot of things, there's a lot of commonalities. Of course, there is slight differences as far as in case of regulation is concerned. But as far as in the case of business, like in my case, I got a whole lot of clients pretty much all over the world, I think, which is very, very different to say years ago when we're actually limited to actually how we do things and how we do business. So I think to your question, I don't think there is much of a difference in the world as far as the challenges we face and some of the strategies that we use and how we actually communicate, how we operate business. What might be slightly different is to do maybe with the regulations intrinsic in those particular maybe geographies themselves.
Well, just to make sure our audience understand your background and how your career path evolved over the years, would you please tell us about your career path a little bit? How did you get started? How your career path has unfolded over the years?
Yeah, that's a good one because yeah, people say change happens in different ways, right? I come from a banking background, and what I do now is so totally very different. But people say change happens two ways. It could be through desperation or inspiration, and for me, it was pretty much desperation. So most of the stuff I teach or I talk about is more about my mess, which is now turned into my message. So I come from a banking background, on paper, successful banker, you might call it that in the case of, but behind the scenes, really, I had my energy tanking, say 2 p.m., my body breaking down. Talk about relationships on autopilot, right? Living on caffeine, dopamine, and adrenaline. So, what actually shifted there is me realizing that, you know what, running a successful business, is not predicated on more hustle. You have to upgrade the operator behind it all because energy drives what? Execution, systems drive scale, and relationships pretty much fuel everything. So I think that was one of the biggest changes that came about for me is that realization that for us to win, be it in business, it has to be full spectrum success, not just in one area. So that is something that has been my core driver in what I do right now in helping the other founders, other operators to win in all those three areas. I found that to be quite true as well in my corporate world as well. There's so much emphasis on the tools, strategies, but very little spoken of the operator behind it all that drives those tools. And what I believe is that if you upgrade the operator, then those tools just become levers and the better place to actually be used in a more efficient way. Um, so yeah, so that's what I think that's where it all came from, and that's what I've been driving, and that's been pretty much something that I'm so passionate about, not only passionate about, but I talk about quite a lot. In that we need to look at how differently and how we approach, be it success, be it business, be it a lifestyle, that we don't have to sacrifice to grow. Scaling does not require sacrifice or burnout because I went through that myself and it's not really worth it.
When you look at your day-to-day work, what are the exciting and challenging parts of your work on each day?
I think the challenges for me are actually what drives me. And I think I come from a banking background. I was trained I'm a child accountant. I'm a CPA, trained CPA, but I found accounting to be quite boring, to be honest, because a P&L is a P&L, balance sheet is a balance sheet. So it was very predictable. So I went into projects, which is actually creating and solving problems. And I think solving problems for me drives me. And with that, it's like facing challenges. How did you intend with that? And that's the reason why, like coaching, I think for me, I thrive in that. It's my superpower because one, each and every client you deal with is almost like a different puzzle. Everybody's very different. And that's a challenge you face because not you don't have a cookie cutter solution. Not everybody's different. Every day is actually different. But how is it you work through that? One, that helps in actually what? Carrying your day. And two, actually seeing the outcome. You can't put a value on that. Seeing that transformation in somebody, seeing a result of something moving from where, say, somebody was to where they want to be. Yeah, so I think those are kind of challenges we face, but at the same time, they are pretty much the fuel for me that gets me going. So every day is actually very different. Every client is very different, and I think yeah, that's the beauty about it all.
Yeah, this is really exciting. Meeting with different professionals from different backgrounds and addressing their challenges, working with them, coaching. And having said that, nowadays, what type of challenges that you observe in professional growth among professionals? You mentioned about burnout, for example. Uh, in general, can you share some of your observation in terms of what type of challenges that you see in professional growth in the market?
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, that's a very common problem you just mentioned right there. One of them is actually a case of burnout because I face that, right? For me, yes, a new skill, a new systems, but also new burnout because I lived it. And I see that over and over again with a lot of operators I actually work with, a lot of professionals, a lot of founders, because we live in this hustle culture right now. It's all about just putting in the work. But it goes back to what I was talking about earlier is that, growth or scaling is not based on more hustle, right? It's not predicated on more hustle. It's about upgrading the operator behind it all. And that's the challenge we're facing is how is it that we can, as opposed to being efficient in how we do things, how is it that we can upgrade ourselves so we can eliminate things like, say, a burnout? And I think for that, it's more about this hustle culture that we live in right now, whether there's growth, but we're not upgrading the person driving that. It's almost liking it to a phone, right? You got a 2000 phone from 2000 and you want to upgrade it with software from 2025. Yes, it might work, but it will lag, it will glitch, and that's the way it is. We're upgrading, we're taking all these tools, these strategies, but not really upgrading, neglecting the very operator behind it all. So I think that's one of the biggest challenges I'm seeing right now in the marketplace.
How about the impact of AI? How do you see the impact of AI on business as well as on professional growth nowadays?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's huge. AI, I think in just this last few years, it's just taken waves. It's pretty much taken everything. It's pretty much everywhere. And the thing about it is, AI is here to stay and it has to be embraced in a lot of ways. If you don't embrace it in a way, you're left behind. But at the same time, there's this fear right now in the marketplace. I've been speaking to leaders, and a lot of leaders are actually scared in a way is, will my job be replaced by AI? I don't think AI will pretty much replace jobs. I think those that are not moving with time have already being replaced right now because AI is just but a tool and it needs that direction. So, yes, there is a lot of impact in that, but we also need to realize that AI at this stage is still just but a tool. You need leaders that are growing alongside it to be able to direct it and utilize it to bring about those efficiencies. Things that would take us normally weeks, months, or days on end to create would bring about those efficiencies in utilizing AI. So that's what I'm looking at. It's all about how is it we can look at it, use it in a positive sense, as opposed to AI replacing us. AI, you speaking with the voice of I don't think that is the right way to use it. I think a human touch will always be very, very important in a lot of these things, and that's how we just have to move along with it. But at the same time, embrace that humanity, embrace that human touch to it, embrace that authenticity in a lot of ways that we do these things.
I like to shift our conversation towards your role models and mentors. Have you had any role models, any mentors who help you shape your career path, career journey over the years?
Absolutely. I believe in having mentors and coaches. I think for me, that's what actually shaped me. And I've had different mentors in different stages, depending on the season I'm in. And I think it's very, very important with that because we need to be open and learn to be growing and evolving every time. And we don't know it all, right? And one of my mentors actually said, success leaves clues, right? It's all about how is it, I don't have to recreate the wheel. I talk about coaching. I was talking to one of my clients that, you know what, at times in the case of us coaches or a mentor, it's not like we bring something new or novel to the marketplace. It's just that, a coach has seen most stuff, things that work, that do not work. I liken it to a bunch of keys. In life, we all handed this bunch of keys, and this bunch of keys will open that door to new horizons where we want to land. But finding that right key to open that door might take ages because it could be quite fidgety trying to find that right key to open that door. What a coach or a mentor does is point you to that right key, bring about that efficiency so you can open that door quicker and get into those new horizons. And that's how I look at it, right? You don't need to find out, make mistakes, or trial and error when you have a mentor, you got a coach that has gone through it already and help you actually pretty much bring about those efficiencies and actually get to where you want to get to. Yeah, so absolutely. So I've had mentors in pretty much everything, be it business, be it just life, be it with my health, depending on what season I'm in. I look for those mentors that have been in that situation who can actually help me get grow quicker, right? In a lot of ways.
If there is one key career lesson that you learned the hard way, what would it be that you can share with our audience?
Career lesson in learn the hard way. I think again it's a hustle bit, right? And that's the reason I talk so much about burnout and the hustle culture because I was tell you what very hardworking, look at paper very successful, but behind the scenes I was really I was burning out. But you don't need to go through that. You know, scaling and growing is not predicated on more hustle. It's built on you being a stronger operator. That version of you that leads with more clarity, right? Energy and conviction in pretty much every domain of life. And that's what I've actually learned over the years.
Is there a book, a show, a movie that helped you shape your career perspective over the years?
Oh, absolutely. I think if there's one book, I love it and I read it all the time. I keep on reading it. As a Man Thinketh by James Allen. I think it is a very, very powerful book and shaped me in a lot of ways in how I look at things in the case of thinking, how our thought processes really shape us, and that our thoughts are pretty much the seedlings, as the seeds of pretty much everything we do, and just watching what it is that we're putting in our minds in a lot of ways. So I think, yes, a man thinketh is one gem of a book. It's a very tiny, small book, but it's packed with so much, I think, wisdom and truth in there.
If you had a chance to go back history, personally or historically, to what time period would you like to go back and why?
Wow. I think the time period is actually quite tricky because there's so many mentors, there's so many things I would want to do. Maybe I would go back to my younger self. I think I'll go back to my younger self, like a 16-year-old self, and sort of like embrace some of these lessons that I neglected at that moment in time. I'm very passionate right now. I do mentoring young people here in London. I'm very active in that, and why I do that. One of the reasons I do that is me almost like giving back to society, almost like speaking to my 10-year-old, 15-year-old self and imparting some of those lessons I wish I had known at that age, right? So I would have think go back to maybe my 15-year-old self and impart some of these lessons that at times we only get to figure out when we're much older and we've made these mistakes. Not saying that that's the wrong way to go about doing it, because at times those that's an academy. It's about the lessons we're learning in life that we can invest into the future. But I certain things that I think I wish would be taught in schools, like things like, say, financial literacy. It's very disappointing. I've been speaking to friends even in the US, right here in the UK, that things like financial literacy is not compulsory subjects that is actually taught in schools. You got certain subjects that are taught in schools that are now compulsory, but somebody would never get to use those subjects. Yet financial literacy, each and every one of us, whether we like it or not, we have to face that in life, yet it's not taught. So it's little things like that. So unless you're lucky, you're taught at home, but it's not taught in school. So there's a lot of stuff that's not being taught in schools, and life lessons I've learned, which I wish I would maybe go back and get myself more in tune with that.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Well, how to stay motivated and inspired in times of challenges and difficulties at work?
Yeah, that's a very good one, because challenges is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And for me, what has kept me going when I face challenges, and again, it's having, knowing that, it's just a matter of time, it's going to happen. It's being clear on the vision, right? Clarity of vision, because once you're clear on that vision, the pathway and the challenges you're facing go like, right, okay, this is just a matter of time. Then you can focusing more on that, as opposed to the could be the pain that you might be going through at this moment in time, or that discomfort that you might be going through at that moment in time. How is it that you can make that vision so much stronger, so much brighter, that whatever you're going through right now really is nothing to that particular vision. So I think the most important thing for me, what I found, is being clarity of vision. Because for the most part, if we don't, you're not clear on our vision, and that's the reason why people drop off. I was giving an example. I was talking to one of my clients. Like, say you're driving to clarity of vision. It's like you're driving to Birmingham, which is up north here in the UK, right? The thing about it is, you're driving and you're on the motorway. You find a road is shut. Maybe something has happened. Are you going to turn back because of that, or are you going to find a way to actually get there? Right. That's having your conviction to actually go forward. Right. You resolve to actually go forward. And that is because you're clear on that vision. Regardless how you're going to get there, it might not be the direct path, because be it success, it's very rarely a straight path, right? It's about finding ways to get there. At times you have to deviate a little bit, right? It's not scripted. So yeah, so for me, I think for me is it's always been about that clarity of vision, and only worry about the things that I can control, right? It's almost like serenity prayer, right? Being able to, as they say, like, gave me the serenity to give me the serenity to accept what I cannot change, right? And the courage to change what I can, and the wisdom to be able to tell the difference. And for the most part, at times, be it when we're facing challenges, why we give up is because having that wisdom to be able to differentiate, okay, right, I can change this, I cannot change. I need you to accept it and find a different path that will actually work and actually get me to where I want to get to.
What is your career advice for the next generation, especially those who are just entering to the job market?
Yeah, it's about being able to, one, clarity of vision, or having, the thing about career path. I know, like in my case, one thing I was always told is like, follow your passion, follow your passion. Passion, I think, is thrown about so many ways, and for the most part, at times, people just starting off in a career path, they might be going into career path not so much based on their intrinsic motivation, or it's not really aligned to the purpose. It could be extrinsic. It could be maybe family member advise them to go that path, or they thought they're going into that path because they feel maybe it's more lucrative. Like, for instance, in my case, I went into banking because obviously there were other reasons. Maybe at that time it was for, but banking was seemed very, money and all that kind of stuff. But later down the line, I realized that's not really my true passion. So I think what I would advise, people setting off in a career, that you should have that freedom. Think about it. You're not stuck in there. Because I know people I've been coaching and I've worked with that are miserable in their careers. But at the same time, they're just conforming. They're just sticking in there and hoping to only get happy once they retire and leave that career path. That's when they can actually enjoy life. It doesn't have to be that way. Right? You don't have to wait till you retire. You can make that shift. So it's about that flexibility as well, and being able to look for something that aligns, because there's nothing worse than actually going into a job or going into career path and you're just going in there for the sake of it and you hate it each and every day. And you get to wonder why people feel burnt out, feel, you know, feel unfulfilled, feel miserable, because there is more to a career path than just the money aspect of it. For instance, that's just one example. Yeah, so I think it's one, clarity of exactly what you want to do, and if you're young and you're just starting out your career path, you know, it's all about being able to feel free to test out, see what it is that actually works and what does not work for you, and have that freedom as well, that you're not really confined in that particular space. You can make a shift if and so required.
For those who like to be in touch with you, who likes to continue this conversation, what is the best way to be in touch with you and also learn about your company?
Oh, absolutely. I think one of the best ways to get in touch with me is through LinkedIn. I'm always on LinkedIn. I'm pretty much posting almost on a daily basis there. So it's Richie Canna on LinkedIn. I'm also on X, Richie Canna. My book website as well, Body and Bank Connection .com or richiecanna.com. So there's quite a number of ways, but I think the best way, where if you want to get a quick response, is you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. And if you want some free resources as well, I've got some very cool resources, like some diagnostics in there for Operator's Edge that might help some of the listeners who just want to have a feel and look at any leaks that they might be having in the operating system.
Richie, thank you so much for being with us in your busy schedule. Thank you for sharing your professional insights and wisdom with us.
Kevin, we really appreciate it. I really enjoyed this chat, and yeah, let's keep it going.
Yes, that sounds good. Hopefully, see you in the next Connection America Business Networking event.
Absolutely.
I'll keep you posted. Thank you very much for being with us. I appreciate it.
Love it. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a great week. Thank you.
Say bye.
Well, to our audience and to our listeners, I hope you enjoy today's episode. As I always say, you always learn something new in the American Business Podcast. It is because we keep it educational, we keep it informative, and just like today with our conversation with Richie Kana, you'll definitely learn something new in the American Business Podcast. Well, and that is the key to the continuous improvement as professionals. We learn from each other, we learn from different resources, of course, about it. But learning from seasoned professionals and experts is always important for us. So we can keep it going, and we can keep improving ourselves as professionals. If you'd like to be a guest in the American Business Podcast, you can send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. We are very responsive. When you get in touch with us, we'll make sure to get back to you within 24 hours, and we'll be happy to hear from you. Also, we welcome advertisers and sponsors, those who like to promote their companies, products and services and promotions. We definitely welcome it. And if you like to advertise and sponsor and promote your company and services, you can also send us an email, americanbusinesspodcast@gmail.com. Please also visit our website, americanpodcast.tv. We keep it updated. You can see our coming schedule, who will be our guest, what type of subjects we will be discussing and covering. You can see it on our podcast, and you can learn more about the American Business Podcast as well. As you know, we received YouTube Silver Award because we have more than 100,000 YouTube subscribers. Thank you very much for your support. If you haven't done so, you can go ahead and join us on our YouTube channel. This is a QR code. I have it on the screen. If you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our YouTube channel, and you can subscribe if you haven't done so. If you subscribe already, thank you very much for your support. We truly appreciate it. And after your subscription, if you feel more generous, you can also share your thoughts, put your comments in the chat box in YouTube. And we truly appreciate your feedback and your interaction with us on our YouTube channel as well. Thank you very much. And we'll keep bringing you informative and educational content on weekly basis in the American Business Podcast. That's our goal. That's our mission. And we keep it educational, informative, influential, as well as we have experts from different fields that you can learn and hear from firsthand. That is very important that we invite experts. That's why I shared the Gmail account with you in case you'd like to join us as an expert. If you'd like to share your professional insights with us, we welcome professionals and experts from different fields. And that is how the American Business Podcast is growing on a weekly basis. Great. What else is happening? As you know, at the American Business Podcast, we not only share educational content, we also help you connect with other business professionals. That's why we created the Connection America Business Alliance online business networking event. This is an online event. You'll be networking with other business professionals, and it will be also at the same time live on the American Business Podcast. So there is a next networking aspect of it. You'll be meeting with other business professionals, and at the same time, you'll be in front of thousands of the American Business Podcast subscribers and followers live on the American Business Podcast. That is what is unique about these online business networking event. We have limited seating. This is an online event. You can connect from anywhere in the world. And when you scan this QR code, it'll take you to our registration page. You can fill this up and join us. It is scheduled for November 21st at 10 a.m. Eastern Time Zone. And once you register, you'll get also notification, and you can join us on November 21st. I hope you make it and register and sign up and join the Connection America Business Alliance online networking event hosted on the American Business Podcast. Also, we started last month a membership program. We are registering members. Thank you very much for your support. If you haven't done so, consider being a member of the American Business Podcast. We have different membership programs. However you like to support the American Business Podcast, we'll appreciate it. As a token of appreciation, we also have benefits of each membership type that you pick. When you scan the QR code on the screen, it'll take you to our membership page. You can see different membership types and pick the one that you like, and please support the American Business Podcast. Well, that's it for today. Thank you very much for watching and listening the American Business Podcast. The American Business Podcast is the voice of American business. Thank you very much and have a great week.